Hi everybody! Welcome to this week's Sew It Seams video. I'm actually back at home where I'm from in Franklin County at my mentor and grandmother's house to film this week's video. I actually broke my wrist, so she's helping me out a little bit until I am up to speed. I'm still hoping to be able to sew, but some of the cutting is going to be a little bit more difficult, so she's going to show us how to do it. So this part of the video, we're going to put the iron on, set our seams, and then for the remainder of this, everything that we do, all of the seams are going to be sewn open. So you set your seams and then pull it open just like that. She's going to do it again. There you go. And one more time for that last one. There we go. Say hi, Tilly. Hi. So since we're here with Tilly, she has actually pointed out that, I know I've talked about this a little bit, but she wants to square up every single time after we do a cut or a sew on. So she wants us to square up all of our squares to make sure that they're even and equal and everything is the same size, so that when you go to sew all of them together at the end, they're going to be very easy to match up. So just a little bit about this. You just sort of make sure that they're all the same size. So you kind of go through your squares, find the smallest one that's proportionately the right size. This book actually does not tell you the size that each step is supposed to be. It does tell you how large the finished square is going to be, but so you just sort of go through, make sure that there's no uneven edges, make sure that all of them are pretty much the same size, cut them down, and I'm going to show you what that looks like now. As you can see, Tilly has a lot of different squaring tools. You can buy one of these if you want. You don't need this. You can do this with a regular ruler. So as she goes through, the squaring tool makes it a lot easier, but you just determine how big your squares are, measure it like normal, and then cut the pieces down. So that one was acceptable, and this one she's gonna do. So how big are these right now, Tilly?
These are around 4 inches.
Around 4 inches.
A little shy.
Okay, so this one's a little large, so she's cutting off that excess. And that's all you do, just to make sure that we get nice, even squares. And like I said, it's going to make it a lot easier to match up at the end if you do this after every step. And since we want pretty quilts, we're going to do it. So the next step in this process is actually going to be adding your first dark. First dark is the next step. So as always, you lay that right side up under your sewing machine, or just to lay them out to get started, lay them out like this. The piece that you just added on, so this one right here, that one is going to be what you put right side down and line it up with the top of your fabric. Now make sure you cut your selvage edge off before you start sewing, or you're going to have to leave a space and cut it off at the end. Either way is fine. And then you line them up just like that. So the piece we just added, which is the larger piece of your first light, right side down with the right side of your first dark fabric facing up. And then remember to chain stitch. And I'm going to show you a little bit of the chain stitching in just a second. So here we have Tilly. She's chain stitching all of them down. We have the piece that you just added on before this, your second first light, all the way down. And you have just a teeny tiny bit of space in between there to cut. And then you can have all of the many strips that you can fit down to make your squares, and then sew them all and then cut them all so that you're not up and down forgetting what you're doing. All right, so this week, since we've been doing this a while, I'm gonna give you a little extra work to do. I know this might be a little bit more time consuming than what you're used to, so if it takes you a little longer, no big deal. The videos will always be there. But once you have everything completed with that first dark sewn on, I want you to go ahead and sew on the other part of the first dark. That way we can go ahead and be finished with this color and move on to the next one. So that way it's less keeping up with strips, putting them away, taking them out, getting them back out again. We're just going to be done. So, as always, you line up the piece that you just finished sewing, so my first dark, right side down to my right side up facing first dark. So you lay it just like that under the sewing machine and you start going to town. So mainly I can still sew. It's a couple of things that are a little harder with the cast, but not much, not bad. So you just sew them along here like you do any other piece. Don't forget that you want to press your seams when you get done with the other side. Just like we have been doing, press them out. And you're going to chain stitch so that we don't waste fabric, we don't waste thread, we don't want to be wasteful people because we all know how much we paid for this. All right, so that's it for this week. When you get done, I want your finished strips, your finished squares to look like this. More like a square now, and you have both of those first dark pieces sewn on. If you have questions, as always, let me know.